This is the last video for chapter 2, and in this one we're going to learn how to draw Venn diagrams and how to use it to help us make certain calculations and decisions. We will first start with Venn diagrams with 2 sets, then move on with 3 sets. We did a little bit of that exercise at the beginning of this chapter, and by the end of this video we will go back and revisit that project. Finally, we're going to also use De Morgan's laws and see how that can help us simplify things quite a bit. Okay, so let's begin. So the steps that you need to take to draw a Venn diagram is very intuitive. You first have to draw the diagram for the sets. Then you use the Roman numerals to list the regions for each set. Then make sure that you find the set of numerals that correspond to the set given in the set statement. Finally, you shade the areas corresponding to the set of numerals found in step 3. So let's see what we mean by that. Before we start, we need to set some rules for the Roman numerals. We will have region 1. Region 1 represents all the elements in set A only. So it's only A. So these are elements that are not in B. Okay, they're only in A. And then we're going to have region 2. Make sure that you write this down. Region 2 represents that these are the elements are both in A and in B. In this case, we're only talking about 2 circles. And then we will have region 3. Region 3 represents the elements in B, but not in A. So region 3 is B only. And then finally, we're going to have region 4. I didn't spell that out. These represents these elements that are in the universal set, but they are in neither A nor B. But in U. In the universal set. That's an ugly U. There we go. A little better. Okay? So let's look at an example. Here's an example. To draw a Venn diagram, illustrate the set A union B, and then we need to find the complements of it. Remember, the complements of a set is all the elements that's not in the set, but in the universal set. So first of all, let's draw that. Venn diagram. So that's our first step. Right, we have 2 circles, we have 2 sets that overlaps each other, and then we have a universal set. So that's the Venn diagram. And according to the statement earlier, 1 is in A only, which is right here. And 3 is in B only. And 1 and 2, 2 is in both A and B, which is right in here is the black part where A and B overlap. And then we also have 4, which is all the elements in the universal set, but not in A. Then they're not in B either. So that's the allocation of 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay. Now, let's look at the second step. How do we list it in list format? So we said the universal, obviously, is the one that has everybody. So that must have region 1, region 2, region 3, and region 4. If you look back on your Venn diagram, you should see all 4. And then we said for A, we only have 1 and 2. For B, we only have 2, and 3. Okay, some of you may say that, didn't we just say that all the elements in 1 belongs to A only? Yes, that is correct, but also remember all the elements in 2 have both A and B. So when we talk about A, set A, elements in 2, in region 2 needs to be counted as well. Otherwise, you're not counting the full circle if you look back into your Venn diagram. So then it said, let's find A union B. If you look at the Venn diagram that you just drew, you should have A union B should have region 1, region 2, and region 3. And the only thing that's not in A union B, meaning the complements of A, U, and B, is 4. Right? Region 4 is outside the circle of A and B. And that's the only part that's not in A union B. Therefore, that's the complement of A union B. Final step, I need to shade the area 4 to illustrate A union B complements. In other words, once I figure out what my which area that my desired part is, I need to shade it out to let people know. So in this case, we said it's region 4, which is everything outside A and B. Okay, so it's 4 steps. First of all, let's just revisit. First of all, you draw the Venn diagram if you have 2 sets inside a universal set. So it's 2 circles inside a rectangular shape. Then from that diagram, you have to list out all the regions. There are 4 regions. What do they represent? And finally, use the sets in step 2. Find whatever you need to find, whether it's in our example A union B complements or just A union B where A intersects B, whatever you're asked to find out those elements and finally shade the region. So pause the video and give it a try. I think the example that you're given is A complements and then intersect B. So in that case, it's a little bit more complicated that you have to find the A complements first, and then after that, you have to find the intersection between the A complements and the B set. Okay, let's look at the next example. Okay, here's an example. This time we have to illustrate the set A union B complements. So we have to find B complements. First step is to draw that Venn diagram with 4 regions that we talked about, and I put it in the corner here. Secondly, we again have to list everything. So let's start with universal set. It's always the easiest. It has everybody, all 4 regions in there. Okay, and then we have set A, as we said, includes region 1 and region 2. And set B includes region 2 and region 3. So keep this in mind, and then let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now we need to find A intersect B complements. Notice that B, obviously, as we mentioned before, B has 2 and region 3 in it, right? So B complements can have B and 3. So B complements can have 1 and 4. Now, 1 is in A, but 4 is not in A. So when we write A intersect B complements, we know that only 1 is in, you know what, let me write this way. In the last unit, this is what I said. In order to find the intersect, I like to write A is 1 and 2, right? So now I'm going to use my black ink to write it at the bottom. A intersect B prime. So if we look at these two, the only thing that's intersecting is region 1. And that's our answer right there. So make sure that you write region 1 is the answer for A intersect B prime. And therefore, if I have to shade this one, the region 1 is here. That's region 1. Does not include region 2. It's a circle with a little piece in the middle carved out. Okay? So make sure that you finish this one. Try this one too. Draw a Venn diagram to illustrate the set A complement union B. And after that, come back to this sheet of paper. If you know how to illustrate a set statement involving two sets with Venn diagrams, then you need to click on this box here on your note and I'll check it. So that's our first video, and make sure that you finish this by Tuesday. Thank you guys.